Hello everybody, my name is Becca with Frenzy Farm Fitness. I do workout sessions here for my little farm. It's winter time, so right now I'm inside in my small frenzied little space. A mom of 2 boys and another baby on the way. So it's hard for me to fit in my workouts. This is helping me just as much as you, hopefully. This combination workout is, or session we'll say, sway and stretch. So it is combining different types of stretching techniques. Some are dynamic, which means moving. Some are static, which means still. And you get to really drive here. So do what feels good for you. Listen to your body. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Modify it, change it. This is your show. So I'll just give you some suggestions and hopefully you'll feel a lot better after. Second thing we're going to focus on, I try to have a topic. In the past, I have really used working out, stretching, anything physical to escape my problems. Now I encourage you, and I'm trying to use it as a tool to help me feel centered and focused and ready to tackle and change the things in my life that I want to. So the theme today is change, which is a big word. So I am currently looking at this book, which I could not recommend more, called Atomic Habits. It's by James Clear. It gives you nuts and bolts, really clear directions on how to recognize your habits and how to make positive changes, whether it's eliminating something, adding something. So right now I am focusing on a habit that I'd like to change, which is zombie screening, staring at a screen. And the main focus is, what are the cues for this habit? So whatever bad habit you might have in mind, what are the cues that you have? It could be an emotional thing. It could be the time of day. It could be a location. For me, when I'm stressed, when I'm feeling anxious, when I'm feeling guilty, or a lot of big feelings, I tend to want to squirrel away to a screen to not feel those feelings anymore. So I am trying to recognize those cues in my life, and that's my encouragement to you. So sit here and just take some breaths. And as you're thinking about a habit you'd like to work on, feel free to move it any way you want. You might need to shake it out. This is not an invitation to do self-attack or to feel guilty. It is just kind of observing, this is something I'd really like to change. If you feel more comfortable sitting still right now, please feel free to sit still. If you want to move, hold a stretch or flow through a stretch. If you'd like to close your eyes, you can. Just remember to keep on breathing, friends. And just try to keep your mind on one little positive change for you. One little habit you'd like to eliminate. Or maybe it's different for you and you want to add something, but as we stretch to think about the feelings that surround mostly before. Shoulder rolls back, one and the other. And both shoulders back, up and around, keeping your neck long and your chin tucked. Keep on going. Just keep that oxygen flowing. How you breathe in and out is up to you. Try to breathe down into your belly rather than just up here in your chest. Let's do some gentle twists. So very small, just kind of torso twists where you're kind of gazing side to side. If it feels good, you could reach those fingertips. You're keeping the crown on top of your head, so nice long spine. One more, each side. And we're gonna come to the center and do some little chest rolls around. So however you're sitting, you could be sitting in a chair, by the way. You're gonna lead with your chest and you're gonna rock around. This could be as tiny or as big as it needs to be, and kind of just observe how your body's feeling. Are you feeling tight? Are you feeling tense? Are you forgetting to breathe like me? Is there any specific area where you're feeling that tension? If you're flowing around, go the other way. And have these thoughts about perhaps a habit you want to change, a bad habit you want to work on. Are they bubbling up any other emotions? Don't judge it, just observe it. Be calm and kind to yourself. In the center, you're going to round those shoulders and round the spine. And then lift that chest and shoulders, drop down and back, gazing up a few times. If at any point you find a spot that just feels good, kind of a delicious part of the stretch, feel free to hold there at any point. Kind of in a flowy mode right now, but just listening to your own body, doing it your own way. You're going to come to a nice straight spine. If it feels good, you can just continue sitting comfortably, or you can bring your feet together in butterfly stretch. And if you'd like, you can raise and lower your wings a little bit gently if you just want to. And I'm going to breathe through some hinging forward gently from my hips and then coming back up. And you can gently experiment with flexing forward and back, or you could try some little rotations around. Oh, my hips are so tight. You decide how deeply you'd like to go into the stretch. You don't want to collapse your spine and your neck completely, so try to keep it a bit stacked. Folding forward. You may feel it in your low back as long as it feels nice. If you're going around, make sure you go the other way too. And when you're ready, kind of central, just kind of hold it there. Hold the stretch and breathe. Nice big inhale. Exhale, so you can go a little deeper, only if it feels good. Beautiful. Carefully pulling your belly up and in, you're going to stack your spine up again. You're going to take one leg out. It can be more straight in the front, or if it's more comfortable for you, to the side. I need room for baby, so out to the side for me. Ooh, and for me, my hamstrings are so tight, even just being here, I can feel quite a bit of tension. You can also sit in a chair and do this if on the floor is just not working for you. You're going to try to bring the other leg in, unless you're sitting in a chair, and stay down. You're going to inhale and just kind of turn your attention to that leg, and exhale and just reach as far as works for you. You can walk your hands out. If you're feeling limber and flexible and you want to reach further down, please feel free. If your spine is feeling good, if you want to round into it, you can. If it's feeling kind of creaky and tight, you can stay more stacked. Inhale and exhale. Might feel good to flow through this a little bit deeper and coming out a little bit. It is totally up to you. I've been experiencing some of that lovely sciatic pain, so I'm going to be very careful and cautious and listen to my body here. Go as deep as feels good for another couple breaths. We're going to support ourselves back up. We're going to help that leg in, see how it feels. Maybe flutter a little bit and wiggle before we go to the other side. Big inhale as we turn our attention. Exhale, hinging at the hips, going as far as feels comfortable, and breathing. Now it's up to you if you're going to have a really active foot with those toes up and it might get in the calf a bit more, or a relaxed foot. Choose what feels nice. Experiment with your breath and the flow, or staying still. What we want to avoid is rounding our spine, rounding our neck. As you try to get some release here, just do a little body check-in again. An emotional check-in. How you feeling after all that business at the beginning? Try to keep in your mind's eye what's something you really want to work on. And how do you feel leading up to this habit that you want to affect? Knowledge is power. If you can take things that are unconscious, last one down, and stack the spine back up, and you make those things conscious. So if I'm having a stress trigger, that's my cue, feeling stressed out because of a conflict with my kids, rather than beating myself up about it, back to that butterfly, up and down, see if there's any more looseness. Rather than beating myself up about it, I'm just going to notice, this is a cue, I'm feeling stressed, and now I want to go to my phone. Good information to work with. All right, releasing that. We're going to have one leg out in the front. I'm going to change my angle here. readjust my clothes. Ooh, one leg straight out. I can either have the other leg bent up, kind of angled a little bit. If it feels good, you can cross this leg, the bent leg, over the other. I'm not there yet. I'm not there now for my baby. For your hips, we're going into the stretch. So you can do a crossover. I can show you leaning back. And you can twist into it gently. Or modified another way I'm going to go today is I'm leaning back and I'm going to cross this leg and just try to open up my hip. You can either just breathe into it, pressing that bent knee away, or you can try a little sway. And you may not have much range here at all. It might just be that getting it up is a chore. It might be that you're down here. It might be that you can really hug into this. Listen to your body and decide how big or small you want to go today. Or anywhere in between, for that matter. It's not a competition, just trying to do what feels good. If you're swaying, come back to the center. Readjust. Bend and flex the foot. Snap, crackle, pop. And we'll switch sides. Just see how it feels, okay? Crossing the other leg. Big inhale, big exhale. Press that knee away. And experiment. You can try lifting your chest more if you feel that you're collapsing. My hips are so tight. My. Good for hip mobility too when you're swaying back and forth. Last big breath. Back to the center. And we'll uncross. And we're just going to shake it out and see how it feels. Sit comfortably one more time before we go to our hands and knees. We're just going to move our arms a little bit. So you can reach, you can turn those wrists. Just bring the energy and the intention into your arms. You can reach up, you can reach out. You can flow it around and do whatever you want. But just kind of notice how your arms, from your fingertip all the way to your shoulders and in between your shoulder blades feel. Open and big hugs. Spine is long, neck is stacked. And as I'm hugging here, I'm trying to really focus on my shoulder blades, trying to kind of separate them to give a nice little release. And shake and wiggle it out. Let's set fingertips down on one side, other hand goes wherever suits you. I'm gonna reach long, tipping this ear over an imaginary apple on your shoulder and just try to get some length in your neck. If it feels good, you can kind of move that nose around like you're drawing a picture. Could be circles, could be lines up and down. Be gentle. If you got any tightness and tenderness, just be soft and good with yourself. And you'll bring it up back to the center with that face and just kind of shake it out. Into the other side as well. Should have got a hair tie for this. Reaching out, other hand goes wherever suits you, reaching up and over. Tracking with the shoulders, make sure they're relaxed, okay? And let's draw whatever picture you want to with that nose. Circles. You just don't want to go too fast. If you're moving around, make it slow. It should be a slow flow. Nose up and down if it feels good. And let's bring our face back to the center. We're going to tuck our chin, lift the back of our skull, and just do a gentle rock side to side, keeping some space under our chin. And when you're ready, you're going to float that nose back to center and just see how you feel. See if anything shifted. If you still have tension, just take note of it. And we'll see if we can send some oxygen that way. Little wrist stretch before we go to all fours. So that would be a little palms up, gentle press, and palms down, gentle press. Good, let's go to all fours, okay? Shifting yourself around, taking your time, adjusting your clothing as needed. All right. So knees underneath the hips or a little wider if you're making room, like me, for a baby. Hands under shoulders. You can also go onto knuckles if that feels better. I tend to like to go back and forth. I'm going to do a little happy dog tail wag here and just kind of experiment with a crazy dog tail. So if you wanted, you could do some little circles where you're tucking your belly up and in, kind of like a little baby cat pose, like you've got your hackles up, and then bringing it around and going the other way too. I find this one's great for my low back. It is great for tension in my hips and my butt. And back to just kind of a happy dog wag wag. I'm going to take it to child's pose real quick. So you're going to take your toes closer together and your knees really wide, all the way to the edge of the mat, if not a little further. Hands out, and you're going to sit back. And if you can, you're going to try to rest your head on the mat. If not, on a fist, 1 or 2. Trying to relax. Releasing the shoulders. A little bit of active reaching through those fingers, big breaths. And we're going to turn our head to one side. So I'm going to turn my head towards you, friends, and look under my outstretched hand. And I'm going to lace this other hand, palm up, threading the needle. Can you see me? Yes, you can. I'm trying to open up that shoulder and my back. If it doesn't feel good to reach the other arm over it, I can just rest it on the small of my back. Remember to breathe now. Catch yourself. Anytime you stop breathing, try to bring the oxygen back. Core tightened a little bit as you carefully assist that unthreading. And before we go to the other side, we're in child's pose again. And we're going to take our hands and we're going to kind of walk them over to the side of the mat where we were threading and just get some openness right on the side. Forehead to the mat if you can. Last big breath here. And while you're breathing, I'm going to flip around so I can see y'all. And you guys are going to switch to the other side. So you're going to bring your hands back to the center of child's pose, okay? And we're going to thread the needle. Palm up, reaching over, and we are looking underneath that space we've created. We're trying to breathe through the tension and the little pretzel that we got going on here. And remember, this reaching arm can rest back here on your back or by your side. Remember to breathe. If at any point it's too intense, you can go back to child's pose or all fours. Last big breath. Beautiful. And you're going to assist with a core tight and the other hand helping you to unthread. Go back to child's pose one last time. And one last reach, bringing those hands over to one side, opening up the side of your body. I could stay there a long time, but we'll come back to the center. Hands underneath the shoulders, core tight as you gently press back up to all fours. And just kind of shake it out. We're going to flow a little bit here. So listen to your body. Do you need to wag that tail? Do you need to stretch back? Maybe feel good to stick a foot back and do a little calf stretch. You decide what works for you. Maybe you got to adjust clothes like I do. And if your wrists need a break, you can come on up. See how it feels. Always a good idea or good reminder that all the stuff I got going on here is suggestion. If you're finding something else that works for you today, please go there. So I'm going to do a quick calf stretch. So if you need room, make sure you adjust accordingly. You're going to bring one heel back and I'm going to press and extend. And if it feels good, if you can do it safely, you can bring your hands a little further out to press. And come up and press. Beautiful. And we're we're going to switch to the other side. So you're going to carefully bring that knee back down, readjust however you need to. And I just caught myself kind of letting my head drop. So let's be kind to our necks. And we want to make sure that we keep it in the proper alignment here. Yeah, definitely wasn't thinking when I did not get a hair tie for this. So sorry about all my flippy floppy hair going on. Beautiful. Gonna bring those knees back under the hips. I'm gonna walk up, and now I'm going to be, again, just on my knees now. I'm just trying to open up my chest. And again, we can do a little flow here. So maybe it feels good to bring the shoulders back. Maybe you could do some extensions either way. If the reach doesn't feel good, you could just do a gentle twist, right? Keep going with a little flow as I adjust here for everybody. We don't want to force anything. Just like with noticing the cues that I mentioned earlier for any of those bad habits we want to work on. You don't want to beat yourself up about it. You don't want to like muscle through it and just be like tense about it. So trying to relax into it and just be like, okay, I'm observing these emotions or what's going on. I'm observing how my body feels right here. All right, we're gonna come to a stand, okay? Great time to get a little water break, a little bathroom break. Standing however suits you while I move the camera up, okay? There, beautiful. We're gonna have a nice, strong, wide stance. Comfortable for you though, okay? I had to go pretty wide to make room for belly. You don't have to go as wide as me. You don't need to see my feet necessarily. Just make sure you're standing comfortably and your knees are soft, okay? We're gonna try to release the low back some more with some forward folds. Now, if you don't wanna do this to the ground, you can have your hands on your thighs. You can have a chair in front of you or a bed. Go as low as feels good for you, okay? So big inhale. I'm gonna do it a little angled, just so everyone can see. Inhale, and we're going to lift that chest. Exhale, we're gonna make sure our ribs are tucked. And we're gonna reach through the very top of our head until we feel a stretch in the back of our legs. Now, knees are a little soft. If you caught yourself locking your knees out, try to soften them a little bit. Right now, we're kind of more in the back of our legs and we're just breathing. Check for tension. We're trying to get release here. Even if you're supporting here, can you have your arms be relaxed? And if it feels good, you can gently allow the spine to round out. Allow the shoulders to relax. Allow the neck to relax. If it feels good, to reach for the floor. And if you can't reach for the floor and you've got pillows, you've got blocks perhaps, or again, you've got a chair, a bed. Just breathing through it. Breathing through the tension and only going as deep as feels good for you today. Feel free to experiment with flowing. Maybe you want to sway a little bit. Maybe that's too intense and you want to be still. Maybe you want to inhale and exhale and so you can go a little bit deeper. I'm going to take this to a bigger flow now. So I'm going to bend my knees a little bit more and bring my hands to my thighs. And I'm going to use my arms to help me. And I'm going to stack my head, neck, and shoulders. And rest. My shoulders roll back. And I'm going to take it to a flow. So I'm going to hinge at the hips again. I'm breathing. I'm only going as low as I'm comfortable. I can reach for the ground if I want. And then my hands will come to my thighs and I'm going to round it up. So it's going to be kind of the heart leads. Yeah, and rounding it back up. You decide whether you want to join me here or hold it down. Keeping a little bit of sponginess in those knees as we go. If you're flowing, give it one more at your own pace. And we'll stack it all up at the end, standing nice and proud. Let's give a reach up and overhead, only if it feels good. So if it doesn't, it can be here with your elbows forward, or you can reach up with your arms parted. Just kind of give alternating reaches up. I know you can't see my hands, but I'm giving an extension more to one side than the other. Yeah. Standing comfortably. All right, arms out to the side now. Your shoulders are low, your hands are relaxed. And I want you to just reach to one side and the other. Get a nice wide stance if you're not already there. Make sure your knees are bent, weight's really in your heels. And you're gonna pick one side to hang out and drop that hand to your thigh with a little support. And you're gonna reach up and over. If it doesn't feel good to reach, you can just have your hand on that other hip. You're trying to get some length down the side of your body, okay? Core tight. And we're gonna come down very gently as we brace, and we're gonna go to the other side. So reaching, bringing it down, up and over. Or right here, your shoulders and your hips are facing straight forward wherever you are facing, okay? I'm gonna take this to a flow. You breathe through this however you want. Take a break anytime you want. My core is tight. I'm gonna come back here, reach, and I'm just gonna kind of wrap and then come back up, reach. There's no right or wrong way, as long as it doesn't hurt and feels good. If you're flowing with me, one more on whatever side you choose. Bring it down, shake it out. How are we on time? Oh, beautiful. All right. Let's take it to some hip circles. Trying to hit every little curve here. My shirt's totally riding up. If it feels good, close your eyes here. Really sink into your heels. Let the big muscles in your legs support you. If you feel like you can't balance, please keep your eyes open, by the way, or grab onto something. Go the other way too. Trying to kind of wiggle the hips loose. And just feel how it goes. All right, chest circles from a stand. So we're going to have our hands on our thighs and we're gonna sweep slowly around. Let's call it 3 or 4 times one way. And once you've done that at your own speed, we're gonna go the other way. Switching whenever you are. And the next time you're naturally at the top, just stand really proud. Stand really tall. I'm gonna do a little inner thigh stretch. So I'm gonna bring my feet wider. My toes are facing forward. I will be working on getting like better camera, bigger angles, that kind of thing. But I'm gonna bring one butt cheek down and back, bending this knee. This leg is straight. My toes are facing forward and I'm kind of pressing in at not changing the angle of this leg necessarily, but just kind of pressing in and feeling it through the inner thigh and groin and hip. This should be a gentle releasing kind of thing, not a, oh, I'm gonna grind into it. And I'm gonna use the heel on this side now to push back up, and I'm gonna try on the other side. Butt cheek down and back, weights in the heels only. Yes, you could certainly go deeper. This is where I'm gonna live for now. And pressing through this heel over here, yes. And I'm gonna take it to a flow, same thing. So I'm just gonna go side to side, coming down and up. Making sure that my toes are relaxed rather than gripping. My weight is going down and back, either direction. Shouldn't feel it in my knee at all. Ah, beautiful. And when you're ready, maybe you gotta complete a couple more because it feels good, but you're gonna come back to the center. And I'm going to wiggle and heel toe back in, and I'm going to shake it out. Ooh, I'm crackly. Shake it out. Hopefully you're starting to feel a little more loose and limber. Little experimental wiggles and flows here. Excellent. Almost done, friends, okay? Let's bring our hands together. And we're gonna bring our elbows together if we can. If not, don't worry about it. Just think about creating some space between your shoulder blades, especially a little lower on your back. And breathing. We're going to open up, lift the chest, drop the collarbones. We're going to close a couple times. And whenever you're ready, you're going to just release that and shake it out. Whew. All right, the final stretch. We're going to just stand comfortably. I'm going to bring one arm straight up into the air. If it doesn't feel good to be up here, you can bring it down. And I'm just going to tip over just a hair. Core is tight. Knees are soft. And you can either hold here for a few breaths or you can strum this gigantic guitar in one direction, and then maybe you want to go the other way. You can do this smaller if you need a smaller guitar, because your shoulder doesn't like going up big and high. Finishing at the top, separating between the ribs and the hip, just a little stretch, a little more. Core tight as we bring it back down. Other side up and tipping over. Bracing through your middle, like you got a little corset squeeze going on. Knees are soft. And strum the guitar. Fun one to end. If you're strumming, make sure you go the other way. I don't know how to play guitar, so I got no idea which. I'm assuming you'd come up this way. Yeah. Go ahead and release that. Core tight, back to the middle. Shake it out. Good. Just check in and see how you feel. Thank you so much for taking the time. And if you have some areas that you feel like you haven't gotten at, feel free to take a little bit more, okay? Again, this is for you. There's lots of little things you can do to help improve your life. You are controlling so much more than you ever know. So I definitely recommend you thinking a little bit more about habits, maybe checking out Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's amazing. And I'll keep experimenting with this kind of stuff. And let me know what you think, okay? And yeah, I feel better for having done it. And I hope you do too. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye.